Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, gonna go over a story titled Keep Hope Alive, It Does Work Out. And guys, this whole story is about a guy who's been married to his wife for 15 years. He has a kid, 2 kids actually. And lo and behold, one day out of the blue, he discovers that, guess what? She's cheating on him, right? And he's completely just shocked by this because he would never think this would happen, not her, right? And unfortunately, you're going to see he doesn't handle it the best way. And then later on down the road, he discovers, guess what? She's still cheating on him. And that's it. He's done. He finally, that's it. No more chances. That's it. And you're going to see here that instead of basically moping around and letting his life be over, this guy, he turns his life around, he moves past it, goes through the divorce, and you'll see that his life, as he describes it, is now a million times better than it was when he was married to her, even when he thought that, before he found out that she was cheating, okay? So, basically, this story shows you guys that no matter how bad the situation is, because I know plenty of you guys have obviously been dumped, or cheated on, or been divorced, and all that, and you feel like your life is over, you can move past it. You can have a really good life, find happiness, all that. And you're going to see this guy, he does some things, his way of going about his things and finding happiness is not exactly what I would do. More sirens. It's not exactly what I would do or recommend, but hey, to each their own, and he's happy, so good for him. But anyhow, it's a good, feel-good story to start the week off here on a Monday. So, starts off, I figured it was time to post a brief synopsis of my story so folks can see how well things can turn out. I was married for 18 years and we had 2 kids. About 15 years in, I found out that my wife had cheated, which was a complete and total shock. It always is. All these stories I go over, all these stories I read that are posted, or stories that guys email me from viewers or subscribers, they never saw it coming. It was a complete shock to them. He says, earth-shattering. I'll never forget reading that text from her boyfriend. I didn't know how to handle it, and I did the usual stupid rug sweep, false recognition, or false reconciliation. In retrospect, I did most everything wrong, primarily because I kept it to myself and didn't find this group or any other to learn the right things to do. So in other words, he finds this out, he's completely shocked and devastated, and instead of understanding that, guess what, once a cheater is always a cheater and she's going to do it again, the guy basically just swept it under the rug as he described it. They did a reconciliation, but that didn't teach her anything. And you're going to see here in a second, it didn't teach her a thing, because in her mind it's like, hey, I can cheat on him and he's going to let it go and I can just keep doing what I'm doing. And that's what happens a lot of times. And it goes both ways, not just with women doing it to guys, but also guys doing it to women. He continues, so of course, a few years later, I found out she was still cheating. In fact, it turned out that she was a serial cheater over all those years. Now, I don't know if he means the last 3 years after the first time he found this out, or if it turns out that she's been cheating the entire time that they were married, okay? I'm not quite sure what he means by this, but the bottom line is the cheating continued, even though he thought they reconciled and all that, you know? This is what happens when you just let shit slide, right? And again, I know it's cliche, but once a cheater, always a cheater, okay? And it sounds to me, basically, because I've obviously read this a couple times before I'm doing this video, she sounds like a real narcissist. But you're going to see, guys, the good thing is, even though these things are going on, she's going to get it in the end. He said, I had suspicions all the time after finding out the first time, but I determined that there was just no way a person, especially my wife, could possibly ever cheat again after seeing how it hurt me the first time. She didn't care. She's no doubt a complete and total narcissist, probably kind of a sociopath. And there are a lot of people out there like this, again, both ways, right? And this is why you got to cut your ties. End of story. And I guarantee it, because he'd been married all that time and because they had 2 kids together, you know, he didn't want to do that because obviously he didn't want to break up the family, which a lot of guys don't want to do. But what's better, stay in the marriage and have it be miserable and happy? What the hell is going on? It's Siren Central today. Anyhow, but it's worse if the kids grow up in a household where they see the mom and dad fighting and not in love and all this turmoil and everything like that. Better to cut your ties and move on and start over, and the kids can see a normal, healthy environment, at least with one of the parents. He says, it really always came down to that. If I saw a red flag, I was able to rationalize it and just not believe anyone could be that evil. A lot of guys do that. They'll just keep rationalizing the red flags because they just don't want to believe it. Or if they had to believe it, then they have to actually act on it and turn their whole world upside down. It's crazy, but this happens to a lot of people. But I found out I did, and I knew immediately there would be no third chances. Well, right on, dude. Good. I'm glad you learned this time. I filed for divorce, and it took just under 1 year to resolve. It took 1 year to resolve everything. Alimony, child support, housing, asset share, etc. But I got it all done. On paper, the deal is probably fair legally, as long as one is willing to ignore the morality of someone getting the full benefits of a divorce with her cheating not being taken into account. So in other words, even though she was the one that was not just cheating once, but for years, and it's her fault that the marriage went south, she still made out like a bandit. Does that sound fair to you guys? Does that sound like a situation that you'd want to enter yourselves in? Well, I want you to keep that in mind before you think that your sweetheart is this perfect angel. Nothing could ever go wrong, not you, not your girl, and get married, okay? Right here. And I guarantee you they were in a no-fault divorce state and probably a community property state, so she got half across the board, right? And this guy, obviously, you can just tell he's a good guy, probably never cheated on her. He did everything right, and still, she's going to make out like a bandit. Talk about a little bullshit. There are good arguments both ways here, but anyway, it's in my state, and that's the way it goes and went. Again, see, right there, he's in a no-fault divorce state. He didn't say that, but that's obviously, you read between the lines. But the silver lining was that I always wanted more kids and realized I can make the proverbial lemonade out of lemons. So I set out to meet someone, likewise, looking to have more children and who would be a non-cheater like me. Well, I'd be very, very careful, sir. Within less than a year, I really met my soulmate. An amazing, beautiful, funny, sweet, awesome, and he has in giant letters, faithful woman. And we've been together ever since. We have a daughter together now, and another on the way, a life dream of mine fulfilled. Well, that's awesome that he is able to move on, and he found a chick that he obviously really clicks with, and in his view is amazing and beautiful and funny and faithful and all that, like your traditional type of woman. And those type of women are rare. They do exist, but they're rare, and I wish him all the best. But that's not what I would have advised or done given his situation, at least not so soon. He doesn't say if he married her, but I'm willing to bet you he probably did. But point is, he's happy, so good for him. It continues. He says, it's weird to think that I have my ex cheating to thank for where I am today. My life is 1,000,000 times better. I'm treated so well. My wife and I haven't ever had an argument or fight. When we see things differently, we can just calmly talk it over and resolve it in 15 seconds. She's just super reasonable and fair. Very unlike my cheating ex-wife, who is pretty much a world-class narcissist. Well, that's awesome. He's with a girl that obviously can resolve issues and differences, and she doesn't act like a 6-year-old throwing a tantrum, or she isn't passive-aggressive, and they're having a good thing together. That's good. Just make sure this guy, I hope he acts like a man, acts like a leader, and doesn't mess anything up. Because, I mean, a lot of times when I go through these stories, guys, you can clearly see without a shadow of a doubt the guy is screwing up, which is not only making the situation worse with his girlfriend or wife who's cheating on him or wants an open relationship or something bad like that. At the end of the day, it's the cheater who's obviously the bigger asshole, but the guy a lot of times doesn't help the situation. It doesn't sound like this guy was that guy. I mean, he did sweep it under the rug when he found it the first time. That didn't help the case, but good for him in finding a girl he's happy with. Just pay attention to the red flags. He continues, my ex's alimony will run out soon enough, and she's left with a failed marriage where everyone knows she cheated and lost out on a great guy, me, along with a child who has largely cut her out of his life because she is so toxic. So she wasn't just toxic with the ex-husband here, also with the kids. So how about that? The alimony is about to run out pretty soon, and everybody knows that she cheated, and the one child pretty much is like, I'm done with you, Mom. Karma's a bitch. So she gets to watch him come home from college and live here with us while she doesn't get to see him at all. And he says, in parentheses, note, I strongly prefer they get along, but it's never going to happen because she's a nut, and I'm not just going to pretend that I don't at least enjoy some cosmic justice in this if there is a way it has to be. Yeah, I mean, this guy's every right to kind of sit back and kind of enjoy the fact that, you know what, she's getting her own. She's getting hers because she deserves it. Obviously, she's a complete, total asshole. I left out all kinds of fun details, of course, but those are the large brushstrokes anyway. Moral of the story, there very much is life after infidelity. I seized control and I did what I wanted to do. And without exception, it worked out a million times better. If I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. I wish everyone else here, similar success. Well, you know what? Hey, again, like I said before, to each their own. This guy's really happy. Awesome. I would just recommend that, he obviously pays attention, looks for any red flags with this woman. I know he says that she's amazing and sweet and all that, but I have to wonder, did he once think the same thing about his ex? I mean, really, but obviously he probably got married young, and when you're young, you just don't have that experience and knowledge to pay attention to certain things, and you certainly don't want to listen to anybody when somebody tells you those things. But I wish this guy the best. But guys, this just goes to show you that, again, you're in a bad situation. If right now you're watching this and you recently have been cheated on or dumped by your girl, wife, girlfriend, whatever, and you feel like there's no possible way you could ever move on or it can never be better, yes, it can. But you have to be the one to make it happen. You can't just sit there on the couch and watch reruns of Friends and Law and Order and just expect happiness to just show up and things to get better. You actually have to get off the couch and live your life and improve yourself and get out there and meet people and all that, okay? Now, you don't have to go down the path this guy does, because this guy obviously got with another girl and all that. And he wanted kids, so okay, fine. But the point is, this guy, he didn't mope around. He turned his life around. He made things happen, and he's happy. So cool. And you can do the thing too. Whatever makes you happy, do it. Just be careful, especially if that happiness involves another woman, okay? I want you to be happy on your own. That's the ultimate thing to be, is be completely self-reliant, self-sufficient, that you can be happy as a pig in crap on your own, doing your own thing. And one of the best ways to do that is to find your purpose. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you love in life, focusing a lot of your time and energy on that, that's a big deal to bring you happiness. And you don't need anybody else, because doing that, just all the other things don't matter as much, because you just love what you're doing. I mean, what I'm doing here on YouTube and the different businesses I own, I love it. I mean, it's the last thing I think about when I go to bed, and the first thing I think about when I get up in the morning, okay? I'm having the time of my life here. And there's other things I'm doing as well behind the scenes I haven't mentioned. Purpose, it's everything. And so if you have that, you're great. But then if you want somebody else in your life, a woman or just whatever, that can just make it better, but just be careful in who you choose to enter into your world. Again, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. You want your inner circle to be with positive, pleasant, enjoyable people, not people that bring drama and a bunch of turmoil to your life, which unfortunately a lot of people have. But anyhow, a good feel-good story, guys. You can turn your life around. You can move on from bad situations. More sirens. It's crazy. All right, I'm going to get out of here because I think we're going to be arrested or something soon. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.